The three biggest risks I think companies should look out for this year are, number one, rising tensions between the US and China. The idea that there are these two spheres of influence that seem to be increasingly combative with one another is something that companies really need to pay attention to. Number two, regulatory risks. You've seen a big push to deregulate in the US. In Europe, if anything, it's going in the opposite direction. And number three, a global economic slowdown.
The top risks include the following: data regulation and remaining compliant across different regimes in China, the European Union, and the United States. We see extreme weather driven by climate change and the challenge to resiliency. And finally, we see the return of borders in 2019.
The first is the pace of regulation, keeping current, understanding the timelines and the impact on their business. The second risk is the acceleration and change of technology, both emerging financial services, emerging technologies, and how those can be deployed to support their treasury and their commercial growth. The last focus our customers have, obviously, is around liquidity, foreign exchange, and counterparty risk, especially as many corporates are looking to expand their business and footprint into emerging markets. These are very concerning areas.
Geopolitical, FX risk, and regulatory. We have some big operations in South America, specifically in Argentina, so we have the geopolitical risk in that market. In terms of regulatory, we're operational in over 40 countries, and keeping up with all the changes on a regular basis and making sure we're compliant is always forefront. And just FX in general, with everything going on with the United States, whether or not we're going to be stronger or weaker this year in relation to our offshore revenues, and just looking at how we hedge that earnings at risk properly.
Regulatory, technology, and people. Regulatory issues are beyond our ability to predict, to forecast. They're completely exogenous to our business model, just like anyone else, and they're just a huge uncertainty. Technology is, at the one hand, a great enabler for everything we do, but at the same time, the pace of change makes it challenging to keep up. And the third risk, people. The ability to attract, retain, develop great talent is absolutely essential.